Okay, so let's talk about modularity real quick. So modularity defines the degree to which a program is composed of separate, discrete modules such that a change to one of those modules has minimum impact on other modules. So in LabVIEW, these modules are going to be implemented as sub-VIs. So sub-VIs we talked about in the LabVIEW Core 1 course and in a lot of LabVIEW Basics courses as well. So in this section, we'll just kind of do a quick review of what sub-VIs are. So a sub-VI is a VI within another VI. If you're taking a look at a sub-VI front panel, you can see that in the upper right-hand corner, you have the icon that's associated with that sub-VI, and that's how it'll show up if it's placed in a main VI. And you also have some connector panes as well. So again, the icon that you define for your sub-VI, that's how that sub-VI will show up if it's placed in a main VI. The connector pane is going to define the inputs and the outputs of that sub-VI, and those inputs and outputs that are passed from the main VI into and out of that sub-VI. So remember, to set up the connector pane, you want to right-click the connector pane, go to Patterns, and you can select one of those patterns. The default one, and the one that most people use, is the 4x2x2x4 connector pane. With sub-VIs, you can also set the terminal setting to either be a required terminal, a recommended terminal, or an optional terminal. The required terminals will show up as bold on the context help, and the recommended ones will show up as just plain font. So to do this, you would open up your sub-VI, and then if you go to your connector pane, after you've wired the connector pane up to the corresponding controls and indicators on the sub-VI, you can right-click a terminal on the connector pane and select whether you want that terminal to be required, recommended, or optional. So let's say you have a section of your main VI and you take a look at it and you see that it would be better suited as a sub-VI. What you can do is you can use your mouse and you can highlight the section that you want to be enclosed inside a sub-VI, and then you can select Edit, Create Sub-VI, and notice how on the slide it will shrink it up into a sub-VI. At that point, you probably want to open up that sub-VI and give that sub-VI a descriptive icon. Now you can describe the basics of using sub-VIs in LabVIEW. Next, we will describe the basics of sub-VIs, reentrancy, and non-reentrancy in LabVIEW FPGA.